Okay, here's a kind of a rather quick video on this is a G-Body 87 Regal example, exchange of the power antenna mast. And obviously you will pop the molding on the bottom if so equipped, if you have that style. Open the door and shunt it between the indexing positions and remove all the tins in the fender on the door side and on the fender well side. A snap-on quarter drive swivel socket. That's a good tool to have. You can get right in there and get those out. As we old dealership guys say, there's a condition, cause, correction. Well, the condition is a broken mast cord equals an antenna that runs all the time. You probably have seen this if you have one of these in your car, and the fact that the cord breaks means that the switch never limits, hence it runs on or off. And then back in these days, before we had wrap or retained accessory power modules and BCMs to look at things, and we used simple relays and limiting switches, you ran your battery dead. So the condition is a broken cord. The cause is the elasticity of that cord, like a tie strap, like a stick of spaghetti. They lose their elasticity and then they snap like a piece of spaghetti. And the correction is to replace it, and I'll go into that, with a better idea, a metal cord. I'll go into that as we progress here. But if you don't go this way, and again, I'll talk about opinions, but my opinion is you're chasing your tail because it's going to break. The word new, in other words, is only a word if you were to get an aerial with a plastic cord. Now here's where you get 10 guys, 10 opinions, or whatever the old saying is. But what I like to do is I'll speed drill these rivets out. And there are several of them around the case, and you'll see them. Really 3 main rivets, 1 and 2, and then the main spool belly, if we'll call it that, are 3. The 4th one I'm going to leave alone, and I'll show you why. So upon doing that, I don't think it's so important as to drill them out as it is to melt them out. So get a like-sized bit, and when you do that, you'll heat the rivet up, and a little bit of pressure will just kind of burn it right out, and it's nice and clean that way. So let's open it up, and maybe I can do that while this is going, and I can one-hand it. I'm gonna probably have to put it down, and I'll put a screwdriver in here to keep the spool down because there's a bearing pilot there, and now you're seeing why I like to leave the bottom rivet in. There's no need to take it out. So we'll simply articulate this out on that remaining rivet, and right away looking us right in the face is this. I just did this in 2013, and I had it up and down a number of times. These nylon cords break or compromise, calling it the fancy thing. Anyway, they're like a tie strap or macaroni. When they get old, they snap just like a tie wrap. And there's no escaping that. And now this is kind of an incentive. There's now a remedy for that. But if we examine quickly the way the thing limits, and the symptom is the thing's going to run all the time. This is going to be hard to show you this. This is going to articulate back and forth here. There's a stop on the center of the armature right here in the center, and you can see that little square post right there at the end of my finger. So he'll limit one switch this way, hear it, and then the other one this way to open one or the up travel and down travel. There's one stool here that again articulate these switches. And a part of this assembly also, and unless yours is just run for weeks, you'll see the brush heads here, and they're fine. I mean, you can get these, and if you need them, go find one in a boneyard, and in some examples you can even solder another brush head on there if they're down that far. But understand, you know, the duty cycle is so minimal unless you're driving it, running it up 10,000 times in a day, and that's going to last, whoops, forever. So you needn't really worry about that. Then to go on, there's another bearing here at the armature's end, and then there's one more here to pilot it before the actual screw, which is what turns this wheel here, is going to need a drop of oil as well. So we'll then take the spool out, put a wrench on the end here. This is a 1/4 inch wrench. Get him off there. Sometimes there's Loctite on these and they come off a little difficult. Thank you. I'm on the bench here. We'll see the other end of the broken cord here. There he is. Look at that thing. It's just snapped off like macaroni in there. Damn things are, again, nylon, and they're going to fail. So when you clock this little guy here and get him up on out where you can see him, there's another end that's going to be the lock key, where just like a weed whip, where you tie it in a knot there inside that spool, where you'll put that metal 90 in that spool to turn it to then clock it, just like that. You heard it lock in and then unlock it. So again, these things are no good because they break. So the word, look at it, it's not gonna, there it goes. The word here, new, is, even if you find a new one, is just a word. It doesn't matter. It really takes on no meaning, and it's really the no-win scenario. And there is, as I said, as I prefaced earlier, there is a fix for it, and I'll show you that here. So again, I hope this works out and you can see what's going on. Let's then pull this out to pick up that first gauge. There it is. Okay, these are garage door cables, and they're very limber, and they're metal, like picture wire, only a lot heavier, and they'll take a hell of a load. And what we're after is that they're enshrined in plastic. There's a plastic coating around them, and again, they're quite pliable. And most importantly, you know, with that cable, they won't break. So the way I do that is to just melt it out. So with that little tiny bit of glue and plastic material in the barrel, see, it all just kind of drizzles right out. So the next thing to do with this cable end here is bare the plastic off it like you would strip a wire. Only instead of stripping a wire that's copper, there's just again a little plastic sheath around this. And again, it's quite nimble. Let's do that. Now we're down to the fibers of the cable, and we'll put that in some flux. Okay, you can guess what's next, right? Put that in the barrel here. So obviously then the next step is to get some solder. I use rosin core for this, same thing as wire. Get him a little hot, just like a pipe, so we'll draw the heat up the barrel. And let that set. This side, as we can see, is all done. Repeat that for this side. So I've got that third section there. See where the end threads on? So in other words, this thread's in here too in this barrel, and I can turn this off or turn this on. A long-term fix, an easy one for 50 cents or something, you know. I mean, just stuff you'd reuse. You'll reuse again this end. You'll burn the cable out of both ends, the one I just showed you that indexes in the spool, and this one too. Heat them out, clean them, tin them, dip them in the flux, peel them back. And this area obviously is less crucial. And this just doesn't do anything here again. You know, it just covers up the solder. I don't know, maybe moisture down in there or something. Put this down and whoa, get that out over it. See if that's, yeah, that looks alright. And the same thing. A step you needn't take if you don't have anything like that. Shrink tube around. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of anal. Doesn't matter. But look at how limber this is. See? It's just really, really nice and limber. And that's going to fold around that spool. Look at it. It's just effortless. Very, very limber. This is crucial. Just like rolling a pencil across a desk. There can be no imperfections in this tube at all when you turn it. So if there's a kink or a bend in it, I think you're SOL. I mean, anything's possible, but that's not good. And in he goes. Now here's where I spoke about that clearance. I hope that this is, you can see this. And this is going to work okay. And our business that we just removed, this for debris here as it wipes the cord. And this is a drain loop for the water down in the case. It's going to work out okay. So there goes our mast up, and everything's going to ascend up into that fine. Oh, and then, you know, we're going to have to get this wire out of that little crevice in there, and this one's a tighter fit by the AC box, and we'll need some mechanical fingers to put down there to pull the deal back out with our coax and our power wire to our antenna. So there it is. There's a really only one basic style. I hope you'll agree that to leave that fourth rivet in is really the golden goose, you know. I mean, I can't think of any dumb reason why you'd want to take him out. He's a great helper, you know. And the way you can articulate that case and seam those halves back together so easily is nice. But again, the moral of the story, nylon cords are going to fail. Go with a steel cord. I hope you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to rate and comment. Thanks for your time. Take good care.